Most people assume the hardest part of growing older is physical. The stiffness in the morning, the joints that need warming up, the energy that doesn't respond the way it once did. But that isn't what truly reshapes a life. What changes everything is far quieter. It's the moment when the pace begins to loosen, when calendars stop filling themselves, when the constant urgency of being needed everywhere finally fades. And suddenly, there is space. More hours than obligations, more silence than interruption, more room to notice how a day actually feels. That's when a different question rises. Not dramatically, not all at once, but persistently. How do I want my days to feel now? Not impressive, not efficient, not productive for someone else's expectations, but steady, safe, comfortable, and still meaningful. Later, life isn't shaped by one big decision. It's shaped by small supports, quiet choices that reduce friction, protect dignity, and make daily living gentler. And this matters because the older a person gets, the more small problems become expensive ones. A stumble becomes a setback. A little confusion becomes a missed dose. A lonely week becomes a heavy month. So the goal isn't to control life. The goal is to support it, quietly, kindly, on ordinary days. Here are 9 of those supports. A chair that becomes a place. For most of adulthood, people sit where circumstances place them. Office chairs chosen by someone else. Waiting room seats designed for speed. Dining chairs bought years ago for a body that no longer exists. Later in life, comfort stops being optional. A good chair is not decoration. It's not indulgence. It's a place the body can trust. A place where joints don't brace in anticipation. Where the back settles instead of stiffening. Where standing up doesn't require planning. Over time, that chair becomes a location in the day. Morning coffee, quiet reading, watching shadows shift across the floor, even a brief rest that doesn't feel like giving in. A physical reminder that rest is no longer something to justify. It's a small, steady message. You deserve to be at ease in your own home. Motion sensor lights. Confidence doesn't disappear suddenly. It fades in moments that feel insignificant, especially at night. A dark hallway, a half-awake step taken on memory instead of sight, a familiar space that suddenly feels uncertain. Motion sensor lights remove that uncertainty. No switches to hunt for. No sudden glare that shocks tired eyes. Just gentle light arriving exactly when it's needed, like the house is quietly helping. They don't only prevent falls, they restore ease. And ease changes everything. How someone walks, how quickly they relax, how much they trust the simple act of getting up in the night. It's not fear to prepare, it's respect for the body you live in now. A simple tablet to stay connected. Loneliness rarely announces itself. More often, it slips in through longer pauses between calls and fewer shared moments. Conversations turn into updates instead of experiences. A simple tablet narrows that distance. Faces instead of voices alone. Presence instead of summaries. A grandchild's grin, a friend's kitchen, a familiar laugh. Seen, not imagined. It isn't about mastering technology. It's about staying reachable and staying curious. A quick video call, a photo that arrives the same day it's taken. A reminder that life is still happening and you're still part of it. Connection doesn't need to be complicated to be meaningful. A well-organized medicine cabinet. Disorder drains energy long before it causes harm. Tiny labels, expired bottles, duplicate items bought because the old ones couldn't be found. And at the worst time, when someone feels unwell, there's searching, squinting, second-guessing. A well-organized cabinet removes that burden. Everything visible. Everything labelled clearly. A simple routine. Check dates. Toss what's expired. Keep essentials in consistent places. And make daily meds impossible to confuse. It's not about control. It's about clarity. one less mental weight carried into the day, and that kind of clarity creates a quiet confidence. I've handled the basics, a water filter and a gentle hydration habit. As the body ages, it speaks more softly. Thirst doesn't always register. Fatigue arrives first. Headaches show up with no clear explanation, and many people mistake dehydration for just getting older. Clean, good-tasting water placed in plain sight turns hydration into habit. A filter that makes the water pleasant. A glass that feels good in the hand. A simple rhythm. One in the morning, one midday, one early evening. This isn't a wellness trend. It's maintenance for the whole system. Hydration supports energy, mood, digestion, even balance. Small sips, taken consistently, can make a day feel lighter. Not through effort, through attentiveness. A sturdy pair of walking shoes. Walking is more than exercise. It's freedom, the ability to step outside without calculating every movement, to move through the neighborhood with confidence, to trust the body again. Shoes designed for today's body protect that freedom. They support balance. They reduce strain in the knees and hips. They make the ground feel predictable. And when the feet feel supported, the mind relaxes. This is why good shoes often change more than comfort. They change willingness. Willingness to take a short walk, to run a simple errand, to say yes to a morning stroll. One good pair can quietly expand a life. A personal medical alert device. Preparation is not pessimism, it's wisdom. Independence is beautiful, but it's also honest. Sometimes people are alone, and sometimes bodies surprise us. A small alert device offers reassurance, not just to the wearer, but to the people who love them. It doesn't assume something will go wrong. It simply acknowledges possibility, and that acknowledgement allows life to continue with less anxiety and more ease. Confidence returns in practical places, showers, stairs, quiet afternoons at home. Not because danger is expected, but because help isn't far away if it's needed. A joy fund. For most of life, money is assigned responsibility. Bills, obligations, careful planning. Later in life, something essential must be reclaimed. Permission. A joy fund exists for one purpose only: to enjoy. A diner breakfast that tastes like an old memory. A book purchased without justification. A small class tried simply out of curiosity. A simple treat shared with a friend because today is worth marking. The amount isn't the point. The intention is. Joy doesn't need explanation. It needs allowance. And when joy is planned for, it stops feeling like extra and starts feeling like care. A handwritten legacy. The most valuable things left behind are rarely the most expensive. They are voices, memories, ordinary moments captured honestly, a notebook filled slowly, stories written without polish, thoughts recorded as they are, a favorite recipe, a lesson learned too late, a memory that still warms the chest when it returns. Handwriting carries presence. It says, I was here. This is who I was. This is what mattered to me. And one day, someone will read those pages and feel closer than a photograph could ever allow. These 9 supports aren't about retirement. They're about how life feels when it slows down. Small decisions, quiet care, intentional living. Together, they shape a life that feels steady, safe, and still rich with meaning. Later life isn't smaller, it's more deliberate. And when even one small choice improves how a day feels, that choice matters. So here's a gentle question to leave with. Which of these would make your tomorrow feel calmer? And which one would you pass along to someone you care about? Because wisdom is meant to be shared. If you're making your own list, keep it simple. One thing that brings comfort, one thing that adds safety, one thing that protects connection, and one thing that preserves joy.